Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show, presented by our friends at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Appreciate you having you along for the ride here. Appreciate you having me along for the ride. I wish the Eagles were pleasant to be following right now, but unfortunately now back-to-back blowout losses to the San Francisco 49ers and now the Dallas Cowboys. Of the things I expected to come out of these two games, I did not expect blowouts. I expected the Eagles to win at least one of these games. I expected the Eagles to beat the San Francisco 49ers. Then, you know what, maybe this game in Dallas would be a little bit difficult, but they lost to the 49ers. And thought, okay, you know what, they're going to bounce back. And you know what, that A.J. Brown fella, he really had me fooled. He really had me fooled. And I know that a lot of times I give you guys, top 5 things that really bother you about these games. But this in particular is something that just is really sticking in my craw. And it ain't comfortable when it's there, okay? Here's where I'm at. A.J. Brown, throughout this week, was talking about how this is a football team that, without question, is going to act appropriately. They're going to act like other teams are trying to take what's on their plate. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens come Sunday. Everyone's trying to take what's on our plate. He said it in kind of a, very confident, some might say arrogant, very cocky manner, that this team's going to bounce back and not let other people take what's on their plate. While other people are running around right now with the Eagles' pork chop, okay? They went up to their plate and they took everything. They took the applesauce, they took the pork chop, they took the side salad, they took everything. They even took a damn drink. You don't even get a beverage. That's how terrible it's been over the last 2 weeks for a team that still does have the best record in football, though tied with a couple other teams as well. This is embarrassing. I did not expect embarrassing losses in back-to-back games for the Philadelphia Eagles. And yet, here we are. And you could say a game against the 49ers, best team in the NFL, in my opinion, that can happen. Yes, it can even happen on your own home field. And that sucks. But it's happened in the NFL before. It's going to happen in the NFL again. And unfortunately, this time around, it was the Eagles' turn, for lack of a better way to say it. It was their turn. They weren't ready for that game. They got blown out of the water. So in no way, shape, or form, even going to Dallas to take on the Dallas Cowboys, that they were going to put in a similar effort to that. And oh my goodness gracious, did they. Couldn't get in the end zone as an offense. Fumbling away the football 3 times. Getting into the red zone once in the entire first half. Absolutely abysmal, embarrassing, and wildly below the brand of football that this team can play. And throughout the entire season this year, we have been looking at this team and saying they've been able to at least put it together in one half of football. If they struggle in the first half, they're able to come out, oh man, guns are blazing in the second half, and they're able to come out and they're ready to go in that second half. Neither of these games that was the case. The 49ers game, you usually see them come out, and they were able to get in the red zone their first 2 possessions, 24 plays in total, 12 plays each in each possession. That's great. And nothing from this offense since then. Even in rare opportunities where they were able to get into the red zone, they fumbled the football away or ended up getting sacked out of the red zone and couldn't do anything to capitalize on the few opportunities that the Dallas Cowboys gave them. And the only opportunity they were really able to capitalize on as a defense was when Fletcher Cox was able to get into the backfield, got a sack on Dak Prescott, and Jalen Carter was able to scoop up the football and score it for the Eagles' only touchdown of the game. This was supposed to be the game where the Eagles further prove the point that the Dallas Cowboys cannot beat upper echelon teams. And instead, it was the Dallas Cowboys making a statement. Instead, it was the Dallas Cowboys winning their 15th game at home. And it was the Cowboys again beating the Philadelphia Eagles at AT&T Stadium. And it was again the Eagles turning the football over. And you know what was absolutely mind-blowing? After this game, I looked at the game book, and it has all the box score, the play-by-play, and everything. And just one thing I had to, because the way it's presented, in case you've never looked at a game book before, and I don't mean to mansplain it to anybody, but it has everything. Okay, so you're flipping through, it's like 15 pages, whatever, and you're flipping through it, and there's the first half stats, and then there's the final stats. And I'm looking at Jalen Hurts' targeted receivers: Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith, and A.J. Brown. Olamide Zaccheaus was targeted. That was on the fake punt, which, ballsy move, Nick Sirianni. I like it. I like it a lot. However, I'm looking at it, and I go, wait, hold on a second. Hold. Jalen Hurts only targeted 3 guys? I have to be looking at the first half stats. Let me make sure I find the final stats. And then I flip around a little bit more, and I go, no. This was the final stats. I don't think ever in my life I have seen an Eagles quarterback only target 3 players. I don't think I've ever seen that. I know Jalen Hurts hasn't done it this year. I know Jalen Hurts hadn't done it last year. I know Gardner Minshew didn't do it last year. I have never seen a quarterback only target 3 receivers in a game. There wasn't one to DeAndre Swift out of the backfield, Kenny Gainwell out of the backfield. There wasn't one from him to Olamide Zaccheaus. Again, that was the punter on the fake punt. 3 targeted receivers. There wasn't another tight end that got a look. Nobody. And after the game last night, we're talking to Derek Gunn. Derek Gunn, good enough. He was in a good enough position family-wise to be able to join us for a post-game hit on Jacob Media. And Gunner he had talked to 4 different people in the locker room, players, coaches, everything. What the hell happened, basically? What happened? My words, not his, but what happened? Who do you blame? What's the problem? Blame's all around, so great team guys in that regard. But the word predictable came up through each player. We're predictable. We are predictable. You know what is a perfect example of being predictable? Only going to 3 guys in the passing game from your quarterback. That's pretty predictable. There's no wheel route out of the backfield. There's no DeAndre Swift in the flat just catching a football for 3 yards even. There's no running back screen. I know I saw a tight end screen. Dallas Goedert was back, so we saw the tight end screen for the first time in a while. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith open down the field. Either Jalen Hurts is overthrowing them, or Devontae Smith isn't laying out for a ball, or A.J. Brown isn't paying attention. I don't know what the hell that was on the 3rd and 5, that they just felt like they had to bomb the ball downfield, and A.J. Brown nearly got hit in the hibbity-dibbity as he was trying to catch the ball. Oh, it's coming my way? No way. Oh, I'll drop. Even if he would have caught it, it looked like he would have stepped out of bounds. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, of all people, again, from A.J. Brown, who had all the swagger, all the confidence in the world in the locker room this week. We're going to bounce back. We're going to bounce there. Got it. What was on our plate? They took it. They took your dinner. That's what the Dallas Cowboys did. That's what the 49ers did, and that's what the Cowboys did. And now you got to fly home, and now you're going to fly across the country, and you got to play a Seattle team. And I know Geno Smith is not sure whether or not he's going to play in that game. It's not definite yet. He was held out of yesterday's game against the 49ers. You had the Drew Lock go to start that game. That game ain't going to be easy. Eagles are opening up at 4.5, 4-point favorites going up against the Seahawks for that game. But the Eagles right now are not just in a rut. The Eagles right now are having problems. And one of the things that Jalen Hurts said after the game is something I'm holding on to for my own sanity. I'm not even going to repeat it. I'm just going to let you hear it from Jalen Hurts himself. Here's Jalen Hurts after the game talking about what was rattling around in his brain during this game and what's the message coming out of it. Jalen Hurts postgame.
Bringing guys along with you. And so, like I said, it's as simple as it's something we're going through, not something we're stuck in. And I think the will for this team to get things done is going to continue to be challenged. And it's all in how we respond to that. And I think it's a beautiful opportunity for us. You have to have a hunger. You have to have a will and want to. And I think we got the right guys to do that. I just think it's something simply that we're going through.
It's something we're going through. It's not something we're stuck in. Sure as hell looks like you're stuck. No red zone offense. Inability. I didn't even include it in one of my major things I had to see in this game because the Eagles have been one of the best teams in football since week 6. Since week 6 of this season. The Eagles went through the first 5 weeks of the season. They were terrible at the red zone. Since week 6, great at the red zone. Bad against the 49ers, had to settle for field goals. And then this game again, crap. Absolute crap in this game. And now we're back to square one, trying to figure it out in the red zone, trying to figure it out anywhere. And something you're stuck in certainly looks like something you're stuck in. Eagles right now, especially in the turnover game. Jalen Hurts' turnover is just off the charts this year, unfortunately. But then you go into it like this. You're down 7-0. Jalen Hurts gets a big draw. We'll talk about that as well. Gets down to the Dallas 21-yard line. Fumble. Can't secure the football. That was in the first quarter. That was the Eagles' first possession. That's how it ended. Fun, right? And what really bothers me about it is the Eagles actually started out running the football on that drive. They actually did the thing we've been talking about. DeAndre Swift got 4 yards. Boston Scott got 4 yards. They went with a quarterback draw. They went with another quarterback draw. And one of the things that really drove me crazy about that was the Eagles were in a situation there after gaining ground with their running backs. They lined up in the backfield with an empty set. Empty backfield. So the whole reason to running the football is to set up a play action. And they don't even do that. So you actually get the ground game going, for lack of a better, get it going for 2 plays, and then they let up with an empty backfield. There's no play action there. Maybe then the pass is available and open down the field. Brian Johnson? Nick Sirianni? Apparently not. So then Jalen Hurts has a draw. There's another draw on the play. The Jalen Hurts quarterback draw, whether he is checking to it or it's called, that can't be a staple of this offense. I do love the uniqueness of Jalen Hurts' game, but that should be more along the lines of, in case of emergency, break glass. And that's when Jalen Hurts takes off. It shouldn't be, the main thing, keeping the main thing. You know what? The main thing should not be Jalen Hurts running up the middle all the damn time. Tush pushes, I get it. He has an opportunity to run. Yeah, sure. But the early goings of the game, when it's almost like part of the game plan to get down the field, what? I don't think so, especially when DeAndre Swift ran the ball well and Boston Scott, people, ran the ball well. And the Eagles actually looked like they were going to do the thing that we had talked about going into this game, which was run the football. And they didn't do it. Well, they did it, and then they got away from it. And then Jalen Hurts fumbles that football away. You're already down 7-0. By the way, the 7-0, picking up the flag on the offensive holding call. So you threw the flag. They score a touchdown, and you decide the flag it needs to be picked up. Nick Sirianni said after the game that he thought in real time they made the right call. He said, based on the information that we got from upstairs, it sounded like they made the right call, so that it is what it is. And they weren't blaming officials, and I'm not blaming officials. I'm just saying it's kind of weird that that's what they do in the NFL. And they did it a couple of different times in the game where they threw a flag and then, let's pick it up. Well, the flag's already out there. And I'm all for guys getting together and discussing it to get it right. It just seemed like it was kind of obvious that it was a holding call. And a touchdown was scored, and then they pick it up. Okay. Then in the third quarter, A.J. Brown gets down to the 37-yard line. He fumbles. It was 24-6. You were trying to get some momentum going. And then obviously late in the fourth quarter, Devontae Smith had his fumble as well at the Dallas 12-yard line. And the game was already more or less out of hand at that point. One of the things that they have done in the Nick Sirianni era very well is make adjustments in the game. Nothing in San Francisco, nothing in this game. And in the first time in the Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts era, they don't get in the end zone. That is a horrifying thing for an offense that has A.J. Brown, as hot as he was earlier in the season. Remember that time he had 6 catches? Or excuse me, 6 games with 125 yards or more? And like no one had ever done that before in NFL history, and he did it this season. Remember that? That was a good time. But the guy that was the odds-on favorite to be the MVP going into this game, and Jalen Hurts, he completed passes to only 3 people yesterday. Cool. And Devontae Smith not being able to time that jump correctly with Jalen Hurts' throw. Jalen Hurts throw a couple of overthrows in yesterday's game. Definitely wasn't on it. Talked about it after the game. He himself said that. Just wishes he had that one back. Just a couple of inches. It's a game of inches, that whole thing. Yeah, he's not wrong. But oh my goodness. In this game, so many different plays to be games of inches. And when you did put the ball on the money, A.J. Brown wasn't paying attention. And the play call was still on a 3rd and 5 to go deep down the field. Good Lord. Good Lord. This game, even more so than the 49ers game, is annoying and hurtful, actually. Because, yes, it's the Dallas Cowboys. And the Dallas Cowboys, you had an opportunity here to prove that they are who we thought they were. A team that can't beat good teams. Well, right now, the Eagles aren't a good football team. The record's good. They still have a chance at the number 1 seed. We'll go through that stuff in a second. They still absolutely have a chance, better than the number 1 seed. They have a chance to win the NFC East. But right now, whether they're stuck in it, whether they're going through it, right now, the team that has left Dallas and going to be heading back to the NovaCare complex and then be at practice this week, that team isn't good enough. The team that gets on the plane to head to Seattle to play that football game Monday night, one more day of rest, and we all know this crew could certainly need it, or does certainly need it. The team that steps foot on that football field Monday in Seattle better be the team that we saw 3 weeks ago. A team that looked like it was ready to win, a team that looked like it was ready to contend for another Super Bowl. Because these last 2 weeks, they've looked the farthest thing from it. Think about this. These 2 weeks, the Eagles went up against 2 of the supposed elite teams in the NFL. I say supposed only because the Cowboys are involved here, and I still totally expect them to choke in the postseason. They went up against the 49ers, and they went up against the Cowboys, and they didn't even compete. They didn't even compete in those 2 games. You tell me that about the 49ers, I go, the 49ers are a pretty damn good football team. Tell me about the Cowboys. What? You got blown up by a divisional opponent? The only things you have to go like, hey, good job are, let's see, a Jalen Carter fumble return for a touchdown. I don't remember a defensive tackle scoring a touchdown. Nobody since Mike Patterson years ago in San Francisco, an old candlestick there. That's something that was cool. And then the only other thing was you didn't let them score 40 points at home, so that streak is ending for them. That's where we're at. Jake Elliott's still good. That's cool. Sidney Brown? Now here's where I'm going to praise Sidney Brown. Ready for this? I'm not even praising him because he did some kind of great job. I'm praising him because I think Sidney Brown gave a damn about playing football yesterday. There was one play, I don't know if they had him in the slot, I can't remember, but he just appeared in the backfield. Full head of steam. I don't know if he was playing safety, if he was in for Reed Blankenship at that point, but full head of steam, made it into the backfield, and it was a handoff, and they ran right by him. It was nothing. And I'm like, he completely over-pursued, but I'm just glad somebody pursued. And I have to praise Sidney Brown for at least having a little bit of aggression. Even in the rare occasion that you actually did have Shaq Leonard out there on the football field, the one thing I thought we could hang our hat on with Shaq Leonard coming here now is the idea that he would be someone who would pursue. He would be someone who would be aggressive. And there was one play to the outside on I want to say it was a 2nd and 5. Shaq Leonard, instead of going into the backfield after, I think it was Pollard who slipped, he just stood there at the line of scrimmage. He stood there at the first down line. He didn't even pursue to try to make a stop in the backfield, get a tackle for loss for himself, or stuff the play right there dead at the line of scrimmage. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. This is the team that we have seen. The things that we were worried about, and what I always try to share with you guys is when I'm judging this football team, when I'm judging any Philadelphia team, really any team in general, it's not just about how they play against the Commanders. It's not whether or not they beat the Commanders. It's not whether or not they beat the Bucs. And I look at that game and go, oh, they beat the Bucs. Oh, they're going to win the Super Bowl now because they beat the Bucs. No, that's not how you look at that game. You look at that game and you go, okay, look at the mistakes they made in the first half. Look at the mistakes they made in the first half against the Patriots. Look at the mistakes they made in the first half against the Minnesota Vikings. Can they do that against the better teams in the NFL and rebound in the second half? Are they good enough to make those mistakes and still rebound in the second half? Nope. That's how I judge games. The fact that you won, great. Anyone that looks at the final score and sees a bigger number next to the Philadelphia team that is the other non-Philadelphia team, you know, wow, they won the game. Congratulations. It's not really analysis, but that's what people are looking at. Well, they win. A win is a win. I have never in my life said a win is a win about a win because there are many different types of wins. And I always talk about this as well. There's no moral victories. You're damn right there's no moral victories. Are there some positives you can take out? Yeah, like, for instance, if your defense actually played great and did their job, say, against the New York Jets, and then maybe you pull out that game just barely by the skin of your teeth. Oh, yeah, great. The defense played great, but the offense was terrible, like they were. Hey, good to see the defense doing what they were at least supposed to do. It's not a moral victory by any means, but at least somebody did what they were supposed to. Some unit did what they were supposed to do. There are no moral victories, but there's sure hell moral losses. And although the Eagles have 10 wins on the season, a lot of those feel like moral losses where, yeah, you won, but it looks more like a moral loss. And you get enough of those, and they add up over the course of a season, and eventually things start to come around and things start to even out. Then you play those upper echelon teams. And I thought, hey, you beat the Dolphins. You beat the Cowboys the first time around, and then you absolutely wet the bed. Oh, you beat the Chiefs too, but they just lost again. Thought this team had what it took to prove that they could go in there and at least compete with the 49ers. Nope. Thought this team would at least bounce back and show that they can still compete, at least against the Dallas Cowboys. Nope. Now you got to go into Seattle. Philly, I can't remember any game ever where Philadelphia ever played in Seattle. The Eagles ever played in Seattle, and they just went, that was incredible. The Eagles just dominated the Seahawks. I remember Marshawn Lynch running through players on a Thursday night game. I remember Carson Wentz and the Eagles getting blown out, by 14 points. Felt like a lot more than that at the time. Yeah, I can't remember too many games. I remember Nelson Aguilar saying he's thinking too much. That was in Seattle. Never feels like the Eagles play a good game in Seattle. And right now, they absolutely need to play themselves a good game. For me to have any confidence that they can push through it and make it, to the next, to that next level again, sounds pretty difficult. Now, here's where we're at. Before I let you hear from anybody else post-game. As far as winning the NFC East, Dallas has 3 road games of their last 4 games on the schedule. At Buffalo, at Miami, host the Lions. So either way, none of these are easy victories. And then they're at Washington. For trying to win the NFC, get the number 1 seed. The San Francisco 49ers, just like the Philadelphia Eagles, have 2 games on the road and 2 games at home in their final 4 games of the season. The 49ers are at Arizona. Yeah. Then they host Baltimore. Oh, all right. Then they're at Washington. The Commander, Sam Howell, is going to have a major impact on the Eagles' playoff standings. And then they host the LA Rams. Yeah. The Eagles, they go to Seattle, then host the Giants, host the Cardinals, and then they go to New York. Season's coming down to these final 4 games. I mentioned the turnovers. You know what I didn't mention? We all knew going into this game that the Eagles were terrible in third down defense. Ooh, if you haven't seen this one yet, this is a doozy. The Eagles were at 47.3%. Highest allowed conversion rate on third down in the NFL. 47.3%. 47. Yesterday, they allowed the Dallas Cowboys to convert 56% of their third downs. And one of the rare times the Cowboys actually didn't convert on third down was a overthrow by Dak Prescott when he had time to deliver the ball, and he just missed the target. So thank you, Dak, for that first third down non-conversion, that third down failure. 47% worse than the NFL. They were worse than being the worst yesterday. 2 things that really stick out to me. One was the targets thing with Jalen Hurts only targeting 3 receivers. The other is the third down conversion rate. They were worse than being the worst. They somehow were worse. That's almost like Keely Ringo getting called for 2 penalties on the same play. I think he's got more penalties now than officially snaps this season. Maybe that's not true at all. But that's just at least how it made me feel. It was just a absolute dog crap-tastic of a game yesterday. Absolutely horrendous. Fletcher Cox after the game did talk about this team trying to pull it together.
But best believe we're going to all look ourselves in the mirror, as we did this week. We didn't get the outcome that we wanted, but guys, like I just said, we're going to find out who the dudes that really are in this team, and I believe in everybody.
Sorry, I'm looking in the chat, Babs. I see you. Hey, the Flyers are winning games. That's true. But I like the attitude, at least from Fletcher Cox there. This is kind of the circle the wagons moment for the now I'm thinking about the Sixers and Flyers. This is kind of a circle the wagon moment for the Eagles. No question about that. Brandon Graham also has similar energy.
Telling our work, keep making sure that, we coming with it, staying together. Because, right now, after this loss, everybody going to be, this and that, the Eagles. It's like, it's cool. Because at the end of the day, they don't know what's going on the inside. So we got to make sure we clean it up, make sure we put a better product out there. And just make sure that we, own whatever it is that we did and move on, because that's part of this game. This game's so up and down. But we got to make sure we just stay together. That's all the biggest thing. In moments like this, you really see who with us and who ain't.
Keep that energy. He went on to say that everyone in the locker room seems like they have their head in the right place in terms of making sure that they pull focus and get ready for the next one and get ready for a run, because that's what the Eagles are going to need right now. Do you really want to go into San Francisco? How are you feeling about going into San Francisco? You feel good about going into San Francisco? I don't feel good about going into San Francisco. I don't even feel good about San Francisco coming to Philadelphia anyway. I don't feel good about seeing San Francisco at any point in the playoffs. Hey, there's a chance that they get upset by somebody else, and I'm going to go ahead and cross my fingers that's what happens. Still, look, when it comes to playoff seeding and when it comes to where the standings are laying right now in the NFC, it could go so many different ways over the next 4 games. So the only thing the Eagles can do, and this is what everybody's MO was after the game, control what you can control. That old chestnut. Control what you can control. So don't fumble the football. Come up with a stop on third down every once in a while. That'd be kind of fun to see that. Hold on a second. Yeah, this one's my favorite one. Get in the end zone as an offense. And then how about this? Because look, look, offensively, you can't make any excuses. And defensively, there's no excuses, but just hear me out here. Offensively speaking, you especially can't make excuses. With A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, this offensive line, and that running back room. You mean to tell me Nick Sirianni and Brian Johnson can't dial up a better game plan and call better plays than what we saw yesterday? You mean to tell me at halftime you look at the sheet and you go, hold on a second here. I like, whoa. I only got 3 guys targeted? That can't be right. I got to get other guys involved here. Even if you want to throw the football. DeAndre Swift, screen, DeAndre Swift, wheel route, something. Get other players involved there so you're not so predictable. Offensively speaking, with these weapons, this shouldn't be an issue. Defensively speaking, I kind of get it. Their philosophy hasn't changed with John, from the coordinators here. You're seeing guys win battles earlier in the season. If Hassan Reddick is healthy 100% from the start of the year, he's not just getting to double-digit sacks right now like he did in this game. 4 straight years, by the way. Congratulations to the Temple grad. 4 straight years with double digits in sacks. Atta fella. The sack numbers for this entire team would look better. But you mean to tell me that Sean Desai isn't similar to Jonathan Gannon? Because one of the things that I thought was supposed to be the big difference, and had been the big difference up until 2 weeks ago, was the idea that he was making second half adjustments. Haven't seen that over the last 2 weeks. The aggression, dialing up a few more blitzes. If Sidney Brown was at safety at the time that I'm thinking and not playing slot at this other time, I know he played safety for most of the game when Blankenship went out, but I think it was early in the game. I think it was a safety blitz they dialed up, and he was in the backfield, and that's when they ran right around him. Hey, I don't mind that. Yeah, dial it up. Sometimes you're going to get burned by it. Sometimes you're not. Eagles go into a situation, and after the game, Josh Sweat talked about it as well. Josh Sweat said, "I'm tired about talking about how we're getting close. We can't just be close. I'm bleeping tired." Except he said the F word. I'm bleeping tired, freaking tired about not being able to get home anymore. It's not about pressures anymore. It's about finishing the job. Well, the Eagles put on pressure on a 3rd and 7, I believe it was, to Dak Prescott. 2 linebackers blitzed up the middle, straight shot. Dak Prescott stood there, fired the ball beautifully to Ferguson. Ferguson jumped up in the air just over an outstretched Sidney Brown, and he caught the ball. Not when he hurled over. I think was it James Bradbury? I think it was Sidney Brown. And it was another one. And he came up with the first down. Sidney Brown was good position. He just couldn't make a play on it. I thought that was fine execution, other than the fact that they didn't finish the job. I was talking about this with Seth Joyner in the postgame show last night. People brag about pressures. Coaches will brag about pressure. We got the quarterback hits. We got the pressures. We get the sacks. You know what the sack is? The sack is finishing the job. That's what that is. That's really winning. That's not just winning your one-on-one battle at the line of scrimmage. That's getting into the backfield and getting the quarterback down with the ball in his hands, or a strip sack. That's also fun. But what a pressure does, and this is what I always found so funny about a coach bragging about the pressures. A pressure ends sometimes with the quarterback feeling pretty damn good about themselves, that they escaped your pressure. Like, you just threw your best shot, and they sidestepped it. They threw the ball away. It didn't end as bad as it could have. Or they make a completion like Dak Prescott yesterday to Ferguson. So it ends with the quarterback actually feeling good. Oh, we got pressures. No, if I'm a quarterback, I just avoided your pressure, and I made a play, either to get rid of the football or to deliver the ball accurately to my man. So pressures can end badly. And pressures are great. Yeah, they're not great when your quarterback that you're rushing just brushes it off and completes a pass downfield and beats you that way. Ugh. And I love the fact that Josh Sweat was talking about it after the game, and he was so pissed off that people were talking about pressures, because he knows that ain't it. That ain't it even a little bit. Absolutely terrible watching this team yesterday. Last 2 weeks. A 10-1 football team going into their 2 biggest tests of the season. And they come up this small. Absolutely horrendous. All right. This is the creme de la creme from last night's postgame. This is the best. Nick Sirianni was asked by, I think it was Mike Sealski asked the question, kind of where do you go from here? What now, Nick? What now? Talk about correcting mistakes. A lot of the same mistakes in this game. Nick says in his press conference yesterday there was no carryover from the 49ers game. All this stuff was individual stuff. All this stuff was no carryover, basically. But Nick Sirianni says adversity is where this team can thrive.
Just like it is, and get the guys ready to play physically, get the guys ready to play mentally, have the right message for the week based off of what's going on, manage the game well. My role's the same as it's always been, and now we're going through some adversity, and so adversity can do a couple things to you. It can break you, or it can make you way better. And I know that everybody that's in that locker room has been through shit in their lives and has made it to this point. They've made it to this point because of the shit they've been through. And so that adversity has made a lot of us in that locker room where we are today. And we got to remember that. We got to internalize that, and we got to make sure that the adversity that we're facing right now, we're able to get through and make sure we get better from it.
That was espresso. That wasn't Jack Daniels. Jack Daniels will be for about 11 o'clock this morning when I'm done my responsibilities till tomorrow. Nick with the poop mouth, man. That's how upset he is, I guess. Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Nick Sirianni, to an extent, Jalen Hurts, Josh Sweat, and I saw Jason Kelce rather depressed at his locker yesterday as well. This is the moment where pushes come to shove. You can't prove that you're better than any upper echelon team from this point of the season on. Seahawks certainly are not an upper echelon team. The Giants, hey, I'm all for Tommy Cutlets, having a fun story and all that stuff, but you're not going to beat him and all of a sudden be like, yes, we are Super Bowl contenders again. And you're not beating Jonathan Gannon and the Arizona Cardinals at Lincoln Financial Field and going, look, we are now favorites to win the Super Bowl. No, that's not happening. So that was only going to happen if you beat the 49ers and you beat the Cowboys. You did a good job against the Buffalo Bills, a team that looks like it's surging a little bit. You certainly hope they're surging as they got the Dallas Cowboys next. You beat Miami. Now Miami's got to take it to Dallas, help you out a little bit. That's what we're looking at. But you can't prove that you're going to be a real Super Bowl contender over the next 4 games. Here's the only thing you can do. Win. When Jalen Hurts was asked about what this team needs to do going forward, he said, I'm going to keep it simple. Win. That's what we're going to do. As simple as Adrian Taraki, just come here. Win. What are we waiting for? Well, I'll tell you what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for less turnovers, like no turnovers would be better. I'm waiting for finishing behind the line of scrimmage, not just pressures, not just quarterback hits, but sacks. More of those, definitely. And I'm waiting for the offense to get into the end zone. That's what I'm waiting for. So the minute the Eagles decide to start doing all that stuff again, that's the minute you can start going, all right, maybe they do have a shot. I don't feel like the 49ers are going to win out. I look at Arizona, Baltimore, Washington, the Rams. One of those games I feel like is going to be an upset to them. But the Eagles have to continue to put pressure. The Eagles have the easiest schedule now. Going forward, they have the easiest schedule. Who would you rather face? Would you rather face Baltimore or Seattle? I'd rather face Seattle. And the Eagles are facing Seattle. Albeit in Seattle, I'd rather face them than face the Ravens. I'd rather go to Seattle than host the Ravens. And I've been to Seattle a number of times. That stadium's absolutely incredible. They did a great job designing it. It's the loudest stadium I have ever been in, bar none. And I've been to the Superdome, no doubt about it. This stadium in Seattle is it's on another level. It's the only place I've ever walked across the field, or walked down the sideline, I should say, right before kickoff and felt my feet shake on the ground. The Eagles are better. I'm still pretty positive. The Eagles are better than the rest of the teams on this schedule, especially if Drew Lock plays against the Eagles in Seattle. The Eagles are better than these teams. Dallas, I can certainly see losing to Buffalo in Buffalo. I can certainly see them losing to Miami in Miami. I can even see the Detroit Lions actually going in there and beating them. Washington, not so much. I don't see them going into Washington and losing. And then you're also looking at San Francisco with Arizona, Baltimore, Washington, and the Rams. There's a lot on the plate there. But I look at it and go, the Eagles certainly will have an opportunity. They'll have a window. If they do control their own destiny and they do win out, I believe there will be an opportunity. But that's the deal. They have to win out. It's the only way I believe they'll have a chance. Chance at getting the number 1 seed. I do think they are going to win the NFC East. Somehow, miraculously. I think they're going to be able to pull that one out. Only because I see the Dallas Cowboys going 2-2 the rest of the way. And at worst, I see the Eagles going 3-1. So they'll break the record or break the tie that way. Excuse me. Before I get to our chat check today, let me tell you the great people at the Game Time app. GameTimeApp.co. GameTimeApp.co. Make sure you check out the Game Time app. Download it to your phone right now. Use promo code Farzy. And at the Game Time app, you'll get $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, that's F-A-R-Z-Y, and you get $20 off your first purchase. They got flash ticket deals, last-minute ticket deals when you want to go to the big game, a great concert, a comedy show, any kind of great event you need a ticket. Game Time app is the way to go. Download it to your phone. Check out the Game Time app also at gametime.co. We all need those killer last-minute tickets. We've all had those moments where we want to make sure that we get in. Well, they have flash ticket sales. They also have last-minute ticket sales, and they have flash deals. They have deal zones as well. The zone deals are great where you get huge savings. And they're making sure that they stay obsessed, by the way, with finding ways to help save you money on tickets to the events, games, and shows that you want to be a part of. Find exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and so much more. Zone deals is where they pick the section, you pick the section, and Game Time picks the seats for big time savings. Check out the Game Time app right now. And the Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. So if you find tickets in the same section and row for less somewhere else, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. How about that with the Game Time app? How about our friends at Sky Motorcars, skymotorcars.com, and PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's phlsportstation.com. Don't forget about the people of MyBookie as well. Use promo code Farzy at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Want to bet on sports, TV, anything? Make sure you check out all of it right there at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Let's start it over the Farzy Show page for the chat check today. Let's see here. Sean Kilrain, Sean Gillespie, what's going on? Buddy Christ, great name. Horrible across the board. Coaching, players, no energy, says Sean Gillespie. Buddy Christ, good morning. Don't worry about being late. Even your Lord and friend is late. Thank you, Buddy Christ. Wait, it's this. The point in the, yeah, okay. Sean Kilrain, what's going on? We must address the linebacker and secondary issues without a doubt. No excuses. Yeah, no excuses. April! Good morning, April. Go Sixers. Howie. Coach Howie had a bad game plan last night. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like everyone had a bad game plan. Eagle 101. Well, Mr. Hertz, you best get out of that funk right now and stop playing scared to lose. Shake my head. Yes, he better. What's up, A? Mihai, what's going on? Eagles are like the 2022 Vikings. Too many close games and poor defense. All right, not a bad comparison. Keys 28, what's going on? Eagles' biggest weakness minus O-line and D-line is they prove they can't develop players at key positions other than the lines. Seems pretty true. Farzy, hopefully you ain't that confident knowing the Eagles can make any quarterback look like a Hall of Famer. Yeah, kind of feels like that right now. Kind of feels like that. Jumping over to the Jacob page. What's going on, everybody? It's not you, Maniac. Even. Oh, wait, that's on somebody else's comment. Sorry. I'll get to you guys. Don't you worry. I got you. Eagles fan. Good morning, Farzy. I didn't get any sleep. You either? Roberto? Okay, Roberto Marks, what's going on? Last 2 games means nothing, just played 4 teams in a row. Okay, you know what, Roberto? I'm gonna say this. I hope that's it. I hope that the one day off that they'll get extra with the Monday night game was a favor done to the Eagles by the league for so many games against good opponents in a tight amount of time. That's what I'm going to hope for. Eagles fan, I wouldn't mind a loss again. Not this bad. Yeah, I agree. Not this bad. NJ Fishing, what's up? We stink. Fair enough. Steve Ike, morning. Good morning. Eagles fan, your 2 top receivers are struggling, so why not feed the player that was hot? They couldn't stop Goddard, and they stopped looking for him. They stopped looking for everybody. Team is tired. Okay, fine. Stick with that. I hope you're right. Steve Ike, putting the ball in the turf, dropping balls, silly penalties. It's an effort and a problem. Yep. I don't disagree with any of that. Jake is money. Oh, Jake Elliott is money. You're damn right he is. Jeffer, what's up? Might as well sit the starters for a game, maybe 2 weeks vacation. I don't know. I don't want to do that just yet. Gary, defense is finally exposed. Yeah, it certainly looks like it. Barbara Carroll, what's going on again, Babs? Nice to see you. Daz, what's going on, Daz? Eagles fan, real truth, Hurts overrated. Ugh, I ain't going that far. Better get Jeffrey Engelbert. What's going on? Think back. They could easily be 2-11. Yep. Eric Wisniewski, what's up, man? Hurts fumbles, can't explain it, or maybe use running backs more. Yeah, I'll go for the running backs more. Please and thank you. That'd be great. That'd be absolutely great. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are great, as per usual. All I got for the morning rush today, very simple. $700 million. $700 million. Wow. I wish I worked a little harder at, baseball and everything. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. That's the show. Catch you guys tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be in a much better place then. Have a great day, everybody. See you.